The content of this video includes discussions of sexual harassment, and sexual assault. These topics are sensitive and can evoke strong emotional responses. Please view with care and self-compassion. Topics for this video include: what is Title IX? How to file a Title IX complaint. The pros and cons of filing a Title IX complaint. What happens after a complaint is filed. What rights do students have under Title IX? What is the Title IX grievance procedure like? What will I have to do, and what will it be like? Supportive measures, and what are the possible outcomes of a Title IX investigation? What is Title IX? Title IX is a short statute in the Education Amendments of 1972 that states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Title IX originally came into existence to address gender inequities in athletics. Since its inception, the regulations based on this statute have developed into a tool to be used to prevent and address sexual and gender-based violence. The main provisions of Title IX include a prohibition against sexual harassment and sex discrimination, rights for students who have experienced sexual harassment at school, procedures for addressing sexual harassment that is reported to school officials, due process protections that make sure that grievance procedures are fair for all parties, and guidelines for informing and supporting students before and after any incidents of sexual harassment. The Title IX regulations are written by the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights. The regulations change over time as public awareness shifts and attitudes towards gender inequity evolve. Every school must develop organizational policies and procedures based on the federal regulations. New Title IX regulations were released on April 19, 2024, and with these new regulations will come changes to school policies and procedures that go into effect in August of 2024. In the 2024 Title IX regulations, you see the following requirements: full protection from sex-based harassment, including sexual violence and unwelcome sex-based conduct that creates a hostile environment, an enhanced definition of sex discrimination that prohibits harassment on the basis of sex stereotypes, sex characteristics, pregnancy, or related conditions, sexual orientation, and gender identity. Supportive measures for those affected by sex discrimination, sexual harassment, and sexual violence. Prompt and effective action by schools to end sexual harassment and sex discrimination. A fair, transparent, and reliable process for responding to all complaints of sexual harassment. Protection from retaliation for anyone who reports or is involved in Title IX proceedings. Under the 2024 Title IX regulations, sex-based harassment is defined as a form of sex discrimination on the basis of sex, including on the basis of sex stereotypes, sex characteristics, pregnancy or related conditions, sexual orientation, and gender identity. Specifically, the following behaviors are prohibited: quid pro quo harassment, when an employee or other agent of the institution explicitly or implicitly conditions a provision of a school service, aid, or benefit on a person's participation in unwanted sexual conduct. Examples include a professor offering to raise a student's grade if he agrees to go on a date with her, or a coach suggesting that a player will get more time on the field if she gives him sexual favors. Hostile environment harassment, unwelcome sex-based conduct that is subjectively and objectively offensive and is so severe or pervasive that it limits or denies a person's ability to participate in or benefit from the educational program or activity. Examples include daily exposure during class to unwanted comments about a person's body and sexual appeal, leading them to feel scared of participating in class discussions, or a student grabbing a peer's butt while they enter the classroom, leading them to arrive late to class in order to avoid another encounter. Prohibited behaviors also include sexual assault, including battery, rape, and sexual battery, dating violence, domestic violence, and stalking. Every educational institution must have a designated Title IX coordinator that serves as the on-campus expert in Title IX policies and is the point person for all reports of sexual harassment. The Title IX coordinator can provide information about the school's policies and procedures to help students file complaints and coordinate supportive measures for students who have experienced sexual harassment. To learn more about Title IX or how it is applied on your campus, reach out to your school's Title IX coordinator or visit the websites for the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights, knowyour9.org, or your school's website. If you have experienced sexual harassment at school, you have the right to file a Title IX complaint. Beginning on August 1st, 2024, schools must accept complaints that are made orally or in writing. Every school has its own procedures for filing a complaint, but the law requires that this information is posted in a prominent location on campus, as well as available to you online. After you file a complaint, you will be contacted by someone from your school's Title IX team, usually the Title IX coordinator, who will speak to you about the grievance procedures, your rights, and the support that is available to you. If an investigation is conducted, the individuals involved in the complaint will receive notice in writing that an investigation is underway. You will be interviewed, as will any witnesses and the accused student. You will have the opportunity to provide and review evidence. Some schools may hold live hearings. The school will analyze all the information they gathered and determine if there is enough evidence to find that the alleged sexual harassment occurred. The decision maker will explain their decision and rationale to all parties in writing. After this process is complete, the school may issue appropriate consequences to any student who violated Title IX or another school's policy. In lieu of this formal process, some schools offer informal resolution. If you are interested in resolving your Title IX complaint without going through the school's full investigation procedures, ask your school's Title IX coordinator about this option. Every school's specific procedures may differ slightly, though all must comply with the federal Title IX regulations. Under the federal Title IX regulations, all school policies must treat reporting students and accused students equitably. They must ensure that any coordinator, investigator, or decision maker may not have a bias or conflict of interest. They must presume that the accused student is not responsible for the alleged conduct and that no disciplinary action is taken until a determination is made. Establish a reasonably prompt time frame for resolving the complaint. Ensure that the school takes responsible steps to protect the privacy of those involved. Provide an equal opportunity for all involved to present witnesses and evidence, and a reasonable chance to respond to that evidence. They must objectively evaluate all evidence that is relevant. Ensure that appropriate remedies are implemented if it is determined that sex discrimination or sexual harassment has occurred. And offer an appeal process. Students who are participating in the Title IX grievance procedure have a right to a fair and unbiased process. Have a Title IX advisor that accompanies them to related interviews and meetings. Present information, witnesses, and evidence. They have a right to review and respond to the evidence. They have a right to supportive measures and the right to appeal a dismissal or determination. There are many benefits to filing a formal complaint, including increased access to supportive measures, the opportunity to seek accountability and learning for those who have caused harm, raised awareness about the reality of sexual harassment at your institution, and a feeling of self-control and empowerment. However, some people choose not to file a formal complaint because the process itself can be long, stressful, and invasive, and the outcome is not guaranteed. If you have experienced sexual harassment at school, there is no right or wrong decision. Whatever feels like it serves you best is the best course of action. If you are unsure of what to do, your school's Title IX coordinator may be able to help you make a decision. Students who have experienced sexual harassment frequently experience a range of negative impacts. It is common for victims to experience effects like difficulty concentrating, trouble following through on tasks, challenges maintaining relationships, low self-esteem, physical symptoms like headaches or sleeplessness, anxiety, or depression. Any of these might lead to academic struggles. Anyone involved in Title IX proceedings, as well as anyone who has experienced sexual harassment at school with or without filing a formal complaint, has the right to receive supportive measures from their school. Supportive measures are non-punitive, non-disciplinary steps a school can reasonably take to restore or preserve access to a student's education. Supportive measures might include wellness or counseling services, excused absences or a leave of absence, extensions to deadlines, tutoring or other academic support, transcript adjustments, tuition credits, educating the harasser, safety planning, no contact orders, schedule changes, and additional supervision. Supportive measures do not include disciplinary action for the accused student, who has the right to be considered not responsible until the decision maker determines otherwise. Throughout the Title IX grievance procedure, the accused student continues to have their right to fully access their education. The supportive measures available to you will vary based on the school's capacity and your situation. Your school's Title IX coordinator will be able to provide you with a menu of options and to help you determine which of those options are more appropriate for your circumstances. If you have been the victim of sexual harassment at school and you feel it has impacted your ability to fully engage in your education or the programs offered by the school, reach out to your Title IX coordinator to discuss the supports available to you. Once a Title IX investigation has concluded, you will receive written notice of the outcome. A decision maker will arrive at an outcome by reviewing all the evidence and determining if there is enough evidence to find that Title IX or any school policy has been violated. In some cases, a school will not be able to gather enough evidence to find that a Title IX violation has occurred. This does not mean that the school staff don't believe you and does not invalidate the real suffering you have experienced. Regardless of the outcome, you will be entitled to support, and the school will still be responsible for ensuring that unwanted conduct does not continue or repeat. If someone you know is participating in the Title IX process, you can support them by following their lead, validating their experience, and helping them to advocate for themselves. A person who has experienced sexual harassment and is seeking recourse through Title IX may experience frustration with the process. They may even feel that parts of the process, such as the interview, are re-traumatizing for them. Others may find the process empowering. You can support a person in this position by allowing them to be in control of their own experience. Whatever they are feeling, they are justified in that feeling. The best support that you can offer is as an ally and witness to their experience. You may also be able to help someone in need by connecting them with organizations and resources that are designed to support survivors of sexual violence. Some of the most prolific are RAINN, Know Your 9, and the National Sexual Violence Resource Center. The websites for these organizations all have links to directories of local resources, including victims' advocacy centers, support groups, and individual counseling. The big work, though, happens before sexual harassment occurs and starts with the small interactions we have with each other every day. Small instances of sexual harassment, such as catcalling or making sexual jokes, can be easy to dismiss at first, but they open the door to more harmful behaviors. In order to prevent hostile environments that can be treated by sexual harassment, we have to first be hostile to harassment. And it's all of our responsibility to do the work. We must stay educated and proactive about the behaviors that can be harassing and learn to interrupt them in ourselves or others. We must learn to be advocates for boundaries and consent, and allies to those who may be targeted by harassing behaviors. And we must dismiss the notion that any sexual harassment is not that big a deal.